Hello, 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 guys. Welcome to the broadcast. I trust you guys are all having a wonderful week. Guys, today we're going to be talking about Nhlanhla Lux. And, there's so much to talk about when it comes to this guy, Nhlanhla Lux. But I did not want to talk about it. Sometimes, guys, when you talk about politics, man, he may not be in politics, but his whole movement, his whole actions are surrounded by so much politics because he seems to be interfering in those spaces. And I just wanted to put a light side to it and talk about Nhlanhla Lux in relation to a movie. I saw an interesting movie and it so reminded me of what's happening currently in South Africa with Operation Tudula and Nhlanhla Lux. The movie is a comedy movie called Free Guy. Yes, it's a comedy movie called Free Guy. And this is a setup, right? The movie is about a game called Free City. There are people, real people, playing a game. This is obviously a big game that people can play via internet. So people go there and they choose avatars or skins, however they put it in the movie. Avatars or skins is like selecting a person in a game that is going to represent you. That person you're going to play with, you end points with, finish missions with, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So as some of you would know, surely most of you have seen games or have played games. What happens, right, is in a game there are enemies and there's a thing called an NPC. NPCs, if you've seen those games where there's a guy running around kicking people, there's always people walking around. If you're a player, you will see those people that are just walking around, and often sometimes there's those people you just sort of beat in a game. Whatever your mission is, those games where people take people's cars and they drive them. You can take a car, you can hit somebody, and so forth. And there are NPCs. Those people are, I checked the definition on internet. It says the non-player character is also used in video games to describe entities not under direct control of a player. The term carries a connotation that the character is not hostile towards players. Hostile characters are referred to as enemies, mobs, or creeps. Just to explain the setup quickly. So in this game, in this movie, you select players, you play the game, and there are non-players that are there just to make the game look realistic. Wherever you're playing your missions, there are people walking around, those people that you kick. Sometimes if you feel like it, you say you're gonna rob banks to raise money, whatever the mission is. So the movie is about one of the NPCs. So an NPC is supposed to be a non-player in a game. It's just that. But this NPC starts evolving and start thinking independently because the NPC in the games are just there to make the game look realistic. There must be people. If you're walking in town, there must be people. But it's not actually participating in the game. You as the players are the ones who move around, who complete missions. They don't necessarily play in the game. But now, one of these NPCs starts developing a mind of its own. It starts becoming bored with waking up every day and doing the same old thing. It evolves to slowly starting to act like a person. And obviously to the gamers, people who work for the company that designed this game is called Free City. So the design and the staff start noticing this, that there's an NPC, a non-player character or a non-hostile character is starting to behave like a player. And they don't understand this because they know it's not a gamer, but the game itself now is doing things and they think it's an error, it's a glitch or something that needs to be fixed. But now, obviously, every time you play a game, right, you press on and then you start playing your mission. Now, this thing keeps wanting to do more. It's like it's bored now with waking up every day and going to the bank gets robbed. It wants to live. And there are cool guys in this game. And the players wear sunglasses and they're called the cool guys. And it's very funny when it starts. It talks about the cool guys can do anything they want. The laws are not even laws to them. It's like, they get away with anything because they're cool guys. They wear sunglasses. And I think it's making fun of our reality, right? There are rich people who like to wear sunglasses. There are celebrities who are always wearing sunglasses. They've got nice hair. They can afford to buy hair. They can afford to fix their hair. Everything about them is proper, right? And there's us ordinary people. So this movie is likening the NPC's life to an ordinary person and a rich, wealthy person or a celebrity person. And this is a scenario. But this non-player is called the blue shirt guy because he's always wearing a blue shirt, right? It's in a game. There are characters that you always see in the same item. Whenever you switch on the game, you're going to see this. So this is likening our lives as ordinary people, as the people that you usually see in the game, just walking around. They're just there to walk around and do nothing and be hit by players whenever they feel like it. So, but this one in particular is getting tired. It start developing. It start behaving like it's a player, but it's not a player. It's a game itself. But there is no programming in the game that allows it to do that. So this thing is a mystery to the designers of the game and those people who work for the company that has come up with this game called Free City. So how it all starts, this MP3 called Free Guy, who is also known as the Blue Shirt Guy. You guys must watch the movie. It's actually quite interesting. It's funny too. But there's a message hidden there. It starts falling in love with a woman that's passing by, and the woman happens to be an avatar of a player. And the players, obviously, when you switch on the game, you know what's going to happen. You even know what people are going to say. But this time around, this woman who's a player started noticing that this NPC is not acting the same way as it used to. It's starting to behave differently, starting to say things differently. And I am likening this to our story in South Africa and the story of Nhlanhla Lux. Just be patient with me. I'm getting there. You see, Nhlanhla Lux is probably one of those people who was living life ordinarily. Well, maybe wasn't living life ordinarily because he has had extraordinary experiences. But he knows both worlds, right? According to him, he knows being poor and he knows being exposed to the rich people. But he saw this and was like, nah, man, we cannot continue living like this. We cannot continue accepting certain things that are happening in South Africa. Like that NPC in that game, it starts noticing my life is all about waking up every day, going to the bank. Somebody's going to come rob the bank, and somebody, whenever they feel like it, they're going to hit me. There's got to be more to life. So this is an NPC. It's like a computer developing its mind of its own. It's like, I cannot continue doing this same thing over and over again. I want to live like a human. I want to live like the cool guys who wear sunglasses. It starts having those desires. It starts falling in love with a woman who happens to be a player in the game. So there's two worlds, the world of the game and the world of the players, which is the real world. But now the real people are fascinated by this. What's happening with this NPC? It's doing crazy things. It finally meets this woman, talks to this woman, and it's advised, they wear these glasses, obviously the cool people, that make them see things that the NPCs are not seeing. And this is liberating. The minute you put on those glasses, it opens your whole new world. It opens you up to the whole new things that you were not seeing before, right? The world of possibilities and the world of opportunities. And I would like to liken this to our lives and what is currently happening in South Africa with the story of Operation Tutula and Nhlanhla Lux. Maybe Nhlanhla Lux is one of those people who's tasted better, who knows what better is. He's like an NPC that has not been wearing glasses. He wore glasses and it saw there's more to life. But now the minute you start doing that, the minute you start getting out of your comfort zone, the minute you start moving out of a situation that everybody has placed you in, right? Everybody knows you as an NPC. Everybody knows you as an ordinary person. Ordinary people are not expected to do great things. They are not expected to do great things by their own who know them. People will start saying, he thinks he's better, or who does he think he is? Those kind of things, because now you're starting to have dreams. You're starting to want more to life, and that you are not expected to. That is not for you. It's for those people on TV. It's for those people in politics. It's for the rich people. What are you doing? Why are you disturbing the order? And I would like to liken that to this whole thing by Operation Tutula. When Nhlanhla Lux started doing these things, everybody started like, what are these criminals doing? What is happening? Because they were labeled as criminals up until people started hearing more and more and more. And I think that's what Nhlanhla Lux was good at. He started talking more and more and more and more. And people started knowing what he's about because he started representing his own narrative. He's the one who was educating people about. He was smart in that to counter what people are saying because he went on various platforms and he understands what he's doing because he goes to the youth, goes to the young people, where young people are. And that's what I think it was smart because those are the people that you need to talk to because they've got the brains to understand these things. They can see, but they almost feel like their hands are tied. And like this NPC in this game, a lot of us are feeling trapped. A lot of us can see what's wrong, but there's nothing we can do about it. And Nhlanhla Lux is like this blue shirt guy and free guy because now the whole gaming community is fascinated by this guy because this guy meets this girl and gets advised by this girl, okay? Instead of just robbing banks you can get points because the more you achieve things, you accomplish missions and so forth, you raised levels higher. And this woman advises him now to maybe you can do things differently. If you really want to relate with me, start raising your level. Start raising by your levels. She shows him that his level is not very low, and you can either achieve a high level by hitting people, by robbing banks and doing all sorts of things. But for some reason, she says to him, you know what, you can actually do things differently. You can be the good guy, and save people and do the right thing, and then you can earn points that way. But in this game, this is unheard of. So he starts doing this thing and says, hey, earning points, and everybody starts noticing this guy. He becomes a cool guy of the game. He starts trending. Everybody's talking, all the gamers are talking about him. This game is obviously big, right? It's a game that trends and all sorts of things. So he starts doing all these wild, crazy things by being a good guy. And everybody's fascinated by this. And then the owners of the game, the designers of the game are always about money. And I would like to liken this to the system, to the owners of the game, the people who sell the game, who design the game. I like to liken them to the politicians, right? So Mr. Free Guy is doing things that are unheard of. He's disturbing the order. But while the employees or the designers of the game who work under this company starts noticing this, and to them it's like, what, how, this doesn't make sense, because this person is behaving like us, the players, but it's not a player, it's a game itself. There's a character in the game that has evolved to become independent. And this goes on, but now the owner of the game sees this. Is like, okay, carry on. Let's not fix this thing, because it's supposed to be a glitch. It's something that's supposed to be fixed in the game, because it's not supposed to work like that. But they decide, no, let's not fix it, because people are loving it. People are fascinated by the blue shirt guy, and they keep talking about it. Similar story with Nhlanhla Lux, right? He came through and he disturbed the order. Now the ANC apparently is endorsing him, and then there were people who were coming after him. And right, the politics, right? The other ones, they know, like, okay, people like what's happening. They're not going to disturb that. They're not going to alienate themselves, because they want to earn brownie points. If the AFF seems to be fighting Operation Tudula and Nhlanhla Lux, and it's got numbers, this Operation Tudula, and people are loving it, are supporting it, what does it do to the AFF? It affects their numbers. It alienates them. But what does it do to the ANC? If the ANC endorses them, they gain favor with the people, right? And I think that's a smart move. If you cannot beat them, join them. So the Free Guy starts now wanting to liberate other NPCs, other just game non-entities. Starts telling them, guys, there's more. Wear sunglasses, but they're too scared even for their freedom. And people are like that. Sometimes you come up with something that's going to free them. You're talking to people about, guys, wake up. The life you are living is not the life you're supposed to be living. There's more to life. Why are you selling for this? So that's what Mr. Free Guy, blue shirt guy, is trying to do in this movie, to liberate people. And I think that's what Nhlanhla Lux is doing. Some of the people that he's trying to liberate are fighting him, and they're scared to stand up and take it. And probably some of us too, we know what needs to be done, but we don't have the confidence to grab it and say, this is ours, let's go for it. So this obviously now starts becoming a problem, because they've got plans, the owners of after a while, now this also becomes a problem for the owners of the game, because they're trying to launch another game, but now everybody is so fascinated by this game, right? By this blue shirt guy. So he takes over everything. And I would say, like, that's exactly what happened to Operation Tudula and Nhlanhla Lux. They start now affecting everything, the momentum, they disturbing the politics, just unsettling the environment. So now they try to end the game, to stop the game. After the guys investigate, okay, cool. What is causing this? Apparently, when they had designed the game, the owners, the game got stolen by the owner from the designers. And the original designers of the game, when they made the game, they wanted to develop something called artificial intelligence. They wanted a game to evolve and actually become a free thinker. What does artificial intelligence mean for those who don't know? It's like you design a robot or a computer that learns from people, and it starts like a child. It grows to a point that it becomes an adult. It can think for itself. It improves itself continually better, and basically just evolve to being independent. So that's what's happening, because they were designing this game. This was their wish, and they don't know that they were able to achieve it, because now this NPC is starting to evolve to become more like a human being, and it's happening on this world. And they discover that this is what they did. And obviously, because the game was stolen, they don't have the money, they don't have the rights to it, and they want to prove that this is their game. So they start using this free guy. They go now into the game to relate to this NPC, which is Bullshit Guy, to start working with him, to partner with him in order to stop the guy who stole the game, and basically just make the game, basically just get the rights back for the game. And it's a very interesting movie, and it really is about guys liberating one's mind, liberating the people to see reality and to get what's theirs. I thought I should relate that story. I cannot obviously just tell you everything about the movie, but it's quite an interesting movie, because I saw this movie and I related it to the story of South Africa, because currently in South Africa, people are trying to liberate themselves because so much is going wrong, nothing is being taken care of, and Operation Tutula came through, and this is what's currently happening. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope I was able to deliver this message, because I think it's rather an important message and an interesting one. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.